Alright friends, welcome back to the garden. My name is Kristen and this is Growing Zone 9B. So we're outside today. We're doing some cleanup. We've been doing some stuff in the house. We've got a nice weekend ahead of us, and so I wanted to get out here in the garden and do some cleaning up over here by the grapes and my passion fruit. This plant right here, I don't often talk about it. This is a beautyberry. You can definitely eat the berries, but you have to cook them in a certain way. You have to be kind of cautious with this plant. So I don't really talk too much about it because I don't want anybody getting sick or not following proper, protocol and process for when you consume or make jellies with beautyberry. But I got excited because, as you can see here, my blackberries are starting to come in, which means this is just a little blackberry that kind of popped up on its own because a squirrel, of course, brought it over to us and delivered it. That was not intentionally planted there. So we're gonna head over. There's Miss Luna. She's hanging out with us today. Miss Luna. You sweet girl. Hi, baby. It's always good to see Luna. Little baby. And there's Pumpkin. Sweet Pumpkin. And then there's Miss Tiffany. She's over there wagging her tail, being a happy girl. I love this little walkway area. My bamboo is definitely, it's so hot that it's getting like dried out. The bamboo does that every year, so that's not anything that, we already don't know that happens. So I'm gonna walk over here and we're gonna go look at the other blackberries that we have. All right, so here's our pineapple. As you can see, the pineapple is still coming in. I've been watering it like on the daily. This ground gets really dry out here. There's a tiny little pineapple over here that we've established. Patrick and Marla brought that over to me. But here you go, we're starting to get our blackberries in. You can actually see them all over the bush. Look at that, here they are here. They're over here. You can see all the green there, look here. And then if you look back here, we've got them all filling up. Look, there's some up there. They're over here. They're all the way over here on our back side. And then it just kind of trellises down the back over there. So there's even a little one right here. So I don't think this one is quite ready, but it's gonna be a little bit sour. But I'm gonna go ahead and try it anyway. Definitely sour, but it's good to have a fresh berry. I picked that a little too early, but be all right. There's plenty more coming in. Woo, tart. And so I'm excited about that. I wanted to show you guys before I know that my squirrels come out and eat them. Like I said, we've been trying to deal with the squirrels, so that's kind of been a headache and a hassle. But today we're going to be taking down that bed officially. And so that's what I wanted to actually get started on. Dang, there are so many blackberries. You guys can't see it from here, but there's tons of blackberries. And people ask me why I keep so many ferns around. In case y'all did not know, now you definitely need to do your own research. But what needs to, what can happen is underneath the ferns, there's a little like potato ball, and it's actually edible, but you've got to do your research on that. I am not telling you to eat it. I'm telling you to do your research. If that's something that you're interested in having in your garden. I think if I remember correctly, there's only certain times a year that you can eat it, and you have to cook it a certain way, so you do what's best for you. So my fiance just ran up to the store. He's gonna go to our Lowe's. My bougainville has popped his tire again, so I think we're gonna have to be moving the bogan along. But isn't it just beautiful just to look out on the garden? and just see all the lushness during the summer, the spring summer. So all right, so I'm taking this bed out and I will show you guys when it's done. I just want to show you what it looks like right now, and so I will bring you guys back as soon as I finish cleaning all this up and getting this taken care of. All right, so you're gonna hear some noise in the background because my fiance is messing with the truck, the lawnmower. He's trying to get a tire off. But I just wanted to show you guys real quick. I've cleaned out this bed super fast. That didn't take long. As you can see, the jungle over here, that is one tomato plant that has wrapped itself all the way around this tree. And there's a couple of nasturtium or nastrium in this mix. So what a mess that is. But shout out to my friend, Mr. Lewis. He has chickens. And so he said he's going to be getting like some extra chickens maybe or something. And that we can buy some eggs from him since we can't have eggs. And I've been going up to our local farm store, feed store to actually buy our eggs. And so he had what I call coop poop, the real deal coop poop here that he has given to me, and I'm going to fill this bed up with it because like I said, here in Florida you cannot have enough coop poop because it gets so humid here that this is what you kind of have to do. You have to like spread the love for sure and get extra fertilizer wherever you can. And then I was digging in the bed, and I don't talk a lot about this, but electroculture, I have them spread throughout the garden. You can get these from Hills Mills. That's where I ordered them from. They're another channel. They do talk about growing. And so I do place these in my garden because, you know, we are a subtropical area. And being that we're a subtropical area means that we get a lot of storms, we get a lot of lightning, and these pull the energy into the air and disperse it into your growing beds. And so I personally think that it's important that we're taking every measure we can to ensure that we're eating good and we're having food. Now, the other thing is that if Mr. Lewis wants to hook me up with some more coop poop, what I'm going to end up doing in the future is I'm going to be putting them around my bananas because my bananas can really utilize the nutrients from that. And I figure if something goes wonky, like maybe there's grazon in the food he's feeding them, which I don't think that there is, but should there be, this is going to be a bed that I'm going to be doing herbs in. I'm usually doing flowers for this bed, or just something that I just like to look at because I'll sit on the porch and I'll look at this stuff. So that's what I'm going to be transitioning this bed as we move forward to, is really just a lot of herbs because my fiance and I, we don't need a lot of herbs, and it really doesn't take a lot of spice to like flavor up your food. And usually once you get something growing and established, it will pretty much continue to grow and produce for you. For me, because it's under this huge tree, it gets a lot of shade, but it gets a lot of warmth. So we really don't have a lot of cold weather here. And so they'll do probably fairly well here. This is really, honestly, for Florida, this is an ideal bed as far as I'm concerned. Because like I said, it's close to the house and it's close here for me to just come out, clip some herbs, add some flavor to our food, and make it super lovely. Yeah, so shout out to Mr. Lewis. That's really what this is about. It's just networking with people. I told you to make those connections within your community and your friends and your family. My fiance, he went up to the Tractor Supply and said that he just saw the cutest little chicken coop and that it was in the shape of like a little trailer, like a little pull along, like behind the back of your vehicle, like RV. So he said it was super cute, and they have baby chicks up there, which it makes me sad. I wish I could have them, but I'm really not supposed to have them in my neighborhood. So who knows, maybe one day we'll get blessed and be able to have some chickens. But until then, make those connections with your friends so that that way they can be supporting you and helping you in ways that, you know, this is potentially a waste product for them, and so for us this is nutrients back into the garden. And when I get enough of it, like I said, I'm going to be planting them around these beautiful banana trees that I have here. And these are my dwarfs right there. Those are my dwarf bananas, and they will love that nutrients. I have a bunch of bananas over here in my other corner that we don't really go over and visit much, but I will be loading that up with poop. So I am super happy to have this back. So thank you for the blessing. I am greatly appreciative of it, and we will continue to get this bed right so that I can bring you guys back out, and I'm going to show you the herbs that we're going to be planting. All right, so we've got a couple of projects going on. Like I said, I'm changing this bed up. So as you can see, I've already added the Miracle-Gro to the bed. And underneath it, I have put the coop poop. So I have the bag, and my friends Carrie, and then one of my supervisors, she wanted some mulberries. So I wanted to show you what I did. I ended up putting like mulch in this bed, in this bucket. As you can see, it's just leaves. It's you know, just stuff that would compost down. That's what I did in Miss Carrie's bucket. And then I added the Miracle-Gro. Now the trick to propagating mulberry is that, which we went over this before, but since this is a new video and you might be new to the channel, what we're gonna do is, like, this one looks really like a nice branch, so I'm gonna end up cutting it right here in what I call the armpit. If you hear a bunch of noise, there's a bunch of people out on the lake with the jet skis. All right, I have to put the camera down to cut it. So I cut it off, okay? And then I'm gonna clip all these berries and little fresh starts to it, because you want it to really like focus on new growth, not worrying about the fruit that it already has on there. And then what you do is you just take a chunk of aloe. I have a bunch of aloe, and aloe is going to get it started. It's got like growth hormone for these plants, and so I just take the tip of this and dip it in and make sure that it's all like juiced up. If you want to, you can actually put some of the aloe in the bucket, and I just rub it all in there, make sure it's super good coated, like nice and thick. See, it's all gunky and gooey, and we're just gonna go put it in the bucket. So here's our bucket, and I'm literally just gonna kind of concave out a hole and then put it right there. And then now I'm gonna fill it with additional Miracle-Gro, and this is gonna get it started. Obviously you're gonna give it some water, make sure it's got a nice bunch of water in it so it can start to take off. Now the growth process can take, I would say, honestly, I'd let it kind of just settle in for about 6 months and get it really kind of established with some nice roots in it before you end up trying to transplant something like this. But I will probably add a little bit of mulch to the top of this just to make sure it stays moist. And as a matter of fact, I'll probably get another plant and do the same thing over here. That way, like Miss Carrie or my supervisor has two that they can work from. So I'm gonna do the same thing for my supervisor. And I just wanted to show you guys, because propagating plants is really important. It's a way that I can share what I'm growing with my friends and people that I care about. Because like I said, you never know when you're going to need to have something reciprocal in return. And honestly, I don't need anything back, so the joy of giving is very important to me. So I'm just practicing that. My fiance was cutting the grass, and I love him, but oh my goodness, he weed whacked my tomato bush. Giant tomato, he just he killed it. Look, he weed whacked it. Weed whacked. Weed whacked. Ugh. Weed whacked. Oh my gosh. And this is the area that I needed him to like weedy, and he just left a big bush. He just went around the edge. That's literally what he did. Poor guy. He's probably just getting hot and tired. That's what I'm gonna blame it on. But why'd you weed whack the tomato, man? And that's what I'm saying, the unexpected things that could happen in the garden. So now my path is mostly clear, and that's all right. There's a bunch of tomato there. It'll revive itself. It'll go into shock for a little bit, and then hopefully it'll come back. But oh, goodness. All right, so the next thing, I'm gonna continue planting that. We are actually slowly like creeping into the evening, and that's how quickly time goes. Like I made some cabbage and some other stuff for the garden, and then bam, next thing you know, you're losing daylight. All right, so I have to plant my aloe. I've been meaning to get this planted. I ordered it. And this is the aloe that has stem cell regeneration to it. So I thought about putting that aloe in this bed that I'm going to be planting the herbs. That way I can really kind of control it and control what's going on. But I've decided that I'm going to use another bucket to actually grow this. I want to propagate it eventually. Aloe grows fairly easily here. This is a specific aloe. So I ordered this on Etsy from Anderson's Tropicals, and literally it's just Anderson's Tropicals with an S at the end .etsy.com. The lady was like super nice. Like, she gave me little hearts and all kinds of stuff for ordering from her. I always like to try to order from just small businesses and kind of support them. It's called aloe, and I think it's I'm probably gonna butcher this name. I think it's maybe it's like maculata. It's M-A-C-U-L-A-T-A, and that is what you are looking for. I will obviously post this so that you guys have it. All right, so let's just talk about this real quick. So this specific aloe, I mean, most aloes do the same type of thing, honestly, but this is also known as soap aloe or zebra aloe. It offers traditional medicinal benefits, and so it talks about wound healing, skin conditions, and digestive issues. So it can also help to support stem cell regeneration, and I think that that's really like why I was looking at this, because I want to grow more of it. Honestly, I have tons of aloe. I'm sure it probably does, like I said, it's all pretty similar, so it probably all does the same type of thing. I like, you know, in a lot of products, people will use aloe, especially like for me here in Florida. I think it's really important that we use aloe because why? Like, I'm out in the sun, and you know, my skin gets exposed to a lot of like sun, which I don't think is a bad thing, but I think to like rejuvenate it, I like to use aloe. That's why I have that big aloe over here in the corner, and you know, I have other aloes throughout the garden. There is a ton of aloe over here. I don't know if I've ever shown you guys, but let's go check it out. Here where I've ripped the tomato cages out, like literally all in here, this is just tons of aloe, and it honestly looks very similar to what I just purchased, and it may very well be. And I probably should have done my research before I just started buying it, but because I don't know the actual name of this aloe, this was just an aloe I got at the grocery store, and it just started spreading and going all throughout my garden in here, my little setup. It's nice and hidden to some degree. I've got just aloe over in one of the other beds, and like I said, you got to be thinking about stuff that's going to help you to heal, that's going to help your system, like especially if you have like digestive issues. Now, aloe has to be done a certain way. You have to strip it. I usually use like a potato peeler. You let it soak. I'll walk you guys through that process. You do your own research, but you don't just drop aloe in a drink and start drinking it. It has like a substance in it that will actually give you diarrhea, and nobody wants that, right? Nobody wants to go to Rhea Town, friends. Like, that is not a place that anybody wants to be. So all right, so our next step is once I get these other plants propagated, I'm gonna go in the house, I'm gonna get us some seeds, and we're gonna fill this bed up with some herbs. I'm really excited. I hope they take off, because the bed over there that has the cage on it, I don't know if you guys can kind of see it, I planted some herbs over there, and that bed is just not doing so well. I think it's this bat guano that I use. I think it's actually too dry, it wicks water away too much. And your herbs kind of like to start off with some serious moisture, and they also, like I said, they love sun. I mean, they love some shade here in Florida, 9B. So I think that that's probably part of the issue. So I'm actually going to set my aloe plant over here at the end of the bed, but I will show you guys what that looks like as soon as I'm done. So let me get these plants finished propagating. Anybody can do propagation. That's why I'm encouraging you guys to get this started. Share with your friends and family, share with yourself, get some more plants going. And yeah, so we'll get some new herbs going. I'm super excited. All right, so let's get some herbs planted. I have decided on the herbs that I want to use. The ground is nice and moist right here. This is a cabbage, so I'm just letting it grow, do its thing. I think I'm gonna do some poppy. Let's do a couple poppy. See if they'll even come up. There's not many in here. That's the bad thing about Strictly Medicinal, is you don't really get many seeds, which is kind of sad for me. Like, I want to select from the big box. All right, I'm gonna do some wild thyme. This is, no, I'm gonna hold off because this is 70 degrees and it gets so hot here. I'm actually gonna plant it further down in the shade. I'm gonna actually do let's do some Genovese basil. Y'all know I love the basil. This one will tolerate up to 95 degrees. So I will plant that in here. Oh my God, it all came out. So, okay. All right, we're gonna scooch down here a little bit, kind of rough it up. There's a lot of flies, so this must be some good stuff. Plus, I think that the flies might actually be from the chicken poop too, the real coop poop. All right, I'm gonna let's do the ashwagandha next, since this is gonna be my herb space. Oh my God, there's like 5 seeds. Yeah. So that's done. All right. I'm gonna scoot down here. All right, I'm gonna do the cilantro next. Push that over. Those seeds were a lot bigger. All right, so we got some of that going. All right, so that emptied that packet out. All right, down here in the shade, which I don't think you guys can actually see. I'll flip y'all that way now. All right, we're gonna do a little bit of thyme down here. All right. And then I still have space down here, so let me find something else to plant. We're gonna do lavender. I'm gonna do lavender next. All right, the last herb that I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna throw some purple basil down here. There's not too many seeds. Matter of fact, that just went in one spot with the wind. It just went burnt. And I still got a little section here. We're gonna plant, I think, some bee balm. Hang on. All right, yeah, so right here, we're gonna plant bee balm. These are tiny little seeds. They have to come in like a special little packet. So we'll just kind of spread them right here at the end and hope that they come up. And if not, it'll be okay. So this is gonna be my little herb bed for now. So I'm super excited. Let's get them kind of mixed in. The ground is already nice and moist. What we'll end up doing is I will end up probably just throwing some nasturtiums or some other flowers in to kind of fill the spaces that don't come up. So that was a wonderful time, friends. I'm so glad that we spent time together and we were able to get this project done. It is going to be great once it comes up with all these herbs. The herbs are going to be right next to the house, and that is something that I'm absolutely looking forward to. So Until next time, friends, keep growing, love one another, be kind, and be prepared as we move into the future of the unknown.